Chapter 42 of Genesis takes some confusing turns, or at least has things in it that I don't really understand. It's just Joseph's brothers go to Egypt. You may have heard of this story, but there's a big famine in the land of all of Egypt. Joseph has advanced to the point of like food bearer. He's the governor of the land of Egypt. He has all the food to himself, and he's selling it to other countries for profit. And he had this dream a long time ago that his brothers were going to bow down to him. It says that he has dreams about sheaves of grain and then also stars in the sky. And in both separate dreams, they're bowing down to him. And it's the whole reason why this whole story started in the first place. Joseph got shipped off to Egypt in slavery by his brothers. And now they're all coming crawling back in. The dream is coming true. They're all bowing down to him. Please give us food. Joseph decides just to have fun with this. He doesn't go, oh, my brothers, I miss you guys. He goes, you are spies. That's what he tells them. You're all spies, and you're trying to spy on Egypt. And they're like, no. And they say, we all come from the same dad. And they go, we're 12 brothers. He was a very busy man. We're mostly half-brothers because he had multiple wives and concubines. But same dad. And Joseph, and literally this is how it goes. Joseph goes, no, you are spies. He says it like a second time, and they go, no, we're 12 brothers from the same dad. They go back and forth over and over. And then he goes, give me that brother. He grabs Simeon. So Simeon is one of Joseph's own. No one recognizes him. I guess because he's older now. He was 17 when he was sent away, and now he's 30. So he's like a hot-headed, like arrogant 30-year-old. You would think he'd be worse at 17. He's actually pretty chill and pretty humble at 17, but now he's like, I remember you guys, my own brothers, my half-brothers. Give me Simeon. And he binds him up in front of everybody, and he goes, go get I don't know why he does this. He goes, go get the youngest brother, Benjamin, because Benjamin was actually left back in Canaan by Jacob, their father. Jacob is the father who reproduced with all these women. And he holds Benjamin back because he doesn't want him to get harmed. It's his youngest son that he renamed even when his wife was dying. His wife gave him a name, Ben-Oni. And then his wife dies, and he goes, you're going to be Benjamin. I don't care about my wife's dying wish. You're just Benjamin now. And now we named everyone Benjamin. No one's named Ben-Oni in the world. They're just all Benjamin. And it's because of Jacob changing the name while his wife died. So Benjamin's with Jacob in Canaan. And then Joseph in Egypt with all the brothers takes Simeon, binds him up in front of everyone. And no one knows what he's saying. He's bound up. And then he goes, you guys have to go get Benjamin and bring him back. And I don't know why he says that. I don't know why that's like a thing. He just goes, he just wants to mess with him. He just wants to put them through turmoil. And he gives them, he grabs a big scooper and he starts putting grain into sacks. And he gives them each a sack. And this is the part none of what I said was actually what I meant when I said I don't get what's happening here. He puts silver in all of their sacks. And I say sacks a lot in the long form. This is a short form video. I say sacks. I talk about these guys' sacks a whole lot and all the silver that he puts in their sacks. And they go back to Canaan and they discover the silver and they get scared. They're like, why is all this silver here? I think, and they don't explain why they're scared either. I think it's because they think they're going to get framed. And they're going to get in trouble, that like an army of Egyptian soldiers are going to come and like, you stole silver. And they'd be like, no, someone put it in our sacks. And then they'd be like, a likely story. And then one by one execute them. But none of that happens. They just get scared. And then they get back to Jacob and they're like, hey, we got to take Benjamin too. And Jacob's like, you already lost Joseph. You lost me, Simeon. Not letting him get lost too. The actual line that I'll read it to you real quick in the Bible. My son will not go down there with you. His brother is dead, and he is the only one left. If harm comes to him, you will bring my gray head down to the grave in sorrow. And to be fair, I've said this before, but I don't really like Jacob. He's kind of a horrible person. It's not just the renaming his sons after his wives die thing. He's done also horrible things before. You read about his whole character. You follow his whole character up until this point, but now he's like old dad for all these brothers. And he was like super sad when he thought Joseph was dead. They bring him back like the colorful coat from Joseph. They bring it back covered in blood and they go, wolves ate him. And he's like, he freaks out. Now, reasonably, justifiably. I mean, if your son died, like you'd be really upset. That's a fair game there. Jacob's a horrible person, but of course you'd be like super depressed and sad from that happening. He like won't even talk to them for a while. He like won't talk because he's depressed. But now it's been like 13 years. He still has PTSD from it. So he's like, I will go to the grave in sorrow if you lose another son for me. So he says no, pretty much. I think he says no, he's not going to go. And that's where the chapter ends. I thought all this happened. I remember like hearing the story when I was a kid, and I thought it all happened at like the same time. I thought it was one trip to Egypt and everything, because I remember what happens after this. I know the next part of the story. But the next chapter is called Second Journey to Egypt. So I guess they're hiking up and going back. So yeah, if you want to find out what happens, keep watching. You can watch everything up until this point on the channel, on TikTok or YouTube. If you want to catch up. But we'll be finding out here soon. You just pick up from this point. You can just start watching from here. You don't have to watch the beginning. That's all the stuff people know. Everyone knows the stories in Genesis, unless you didn't grow up in Christianity. It's actually like 80% of the world religions aren't Christian. I don't know. I don't know what the numbers are. If you know the numbers, put them in the comments. See you guys.